in search of projects where state assistance will result in construction. Over the months, they have considered hundreds of proposals.
Charter review. I think. First one we have is Linwood Gay.
Howdy, my name's Len Gay and I live in Onset. I'm suffering from bronchitis. I hope my voice holds out.
All right. Okay. We normally ask a quick question. Go down the line. Selectman Ekstrom.
I have no questions.
Never has any questions. Selectman Donahue.
I wouldn't exactly say never.
I know.
Just for this committee, that's right.
And I just would like to ask what prompted you to step forward and put your name in for this committee?
I was recruited to some extent, and also, I've lived here all my life. I thought I might get involved in the town a little bit. Most of my effort has been in Onset Fire District.
Okay. Selectman Savageau.
Who recruited you?
They will remain nameless. Most of them were women, if that helps.
I think I know his wife.
Well, it's also my understanding that you have some interest in forms of government and public policy. So.
Well, I'm sort of a local government junkie. Yeah, I like that stuff.
Thank you.
So, what do you think? You've read the charter?
Run through it a couple of times. I haven't had the time to go through a page-by-page analysis of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what do you think the function and purpose of this committee is, and what specific areas do you think need to be addressed sooner rather than later, and how can the committee work to achieve those?
Well, I would hope that, first of all, it wouldn't be just the work of the committee. The committee would hold some sort of public hearings, or have some sort of public input. My impression of the charter the first couple of times I read through it was it doesn't have any teeth. It's unenforceable. But then if you understand that Wareham government, like a lot of other governments, a lot of what this government does is done by volunteers. And you can't put a lot of teeth in what a volunteer effort is, or they'll just walk away from you. I think what's happened in the past 3 or 4 years is the charter would have worked well if the people had followed it, but they didn't follow it. And the rest of it would be whatever other people would think about what kind of changes, if any, need to be made in it.
Selectman Cronin.
Well, the question that I've asked, sir, is to everybody else, and I'll ask you, just reading through it the few times that you read it, you think that that charter is outdated?
I haven't read it close enough to be able to form an opinion like that, no.
All right. That's all. Thanks.
Well, I guess in light of what you talked about with volunteers, that's something that I've mentioned in the past. What are your thoughts on a charter review committee? And you say that, well, maybe the charter hasn't been followed by certain people in whatever time, and like you said, the teeth might be difficult. Do we rely too much on volunteers? That's something that the committee is going to have to look at. But it sounds like you've raised some of that.
You either have to rely on volunteers, or you either don't get the work done, or you have to pay for it. And those are really your 3 choices. I think that, I've been volunteering since I was 14 years old. So I think you're not always going to get the people you want to serve on your committees and boards. Every once in a while you're going to get a bad egg. And depends on how far up the ladder that bad egg is, how much trouble it can cause. The one problem that I see, just quickly looking at it is if you do get somebody that's on one of your committees somewhere along the line that's not contributing in a positive manner, it's kind of hard to get rid of them. So you got to spend more time probably picking out the people you want to put on there rather than just picking names out of a hat.
Right. Well, it's difficult, and it's something that I know that this committee will have a lot of time to look at and analyze. So
I understand that the report for this committee is due for the fall 2010 meeting.
I believe so.
I mean, we're looking at
2000.
almost
Spring.
20
I
to
think it's
24
spring.
months to work
No,
on this.
No,
No, I think
What's
it's
it's the
spring.
spring. It has to be
Spring?
the annual time,
Yeah.
yeah,
A year.
That's 18 months, 15 months.
15 months. That's why
Sorry.
we're trying to do it in January or February, get it as soon as possible.
A little tight, but I suppose it could be done.
Well, you said you have 20 hours a month, so that's a reasonable.
It's not bad.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
nothing
Okay.
else. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, next we have Jack Kent. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
If you could introduce yourself,
Jack.
please.
Jack Kent, Bourne Point Road, Wareham.
Okay. All right. Selectman Ekstrom.
I have no questions, but I do have a comment that I love your special training or qualifications. That's all, but I have no question.
And my question is, what prompted your interest in this particular committee?
Well, kind of educational. I had a few people yell at me because I complain too much that things aren't getting done around town. Everybody's fighting, so that I had to jump in and maybe start doing something about it, join in, and make a difference, maybe.
Thank you.
So, I don't know. I'm used to the mayoral system. I'm from the West, so I've never heard of a selectman until about 15 years ago. So it's the best way to kind of get in and see what the whole system's about.
All right. Selectman Savageau.
Well, that's funny, because I thought all of us ended up in the witness protection program, went out west after our terms expired, but I guess my question is, have you reviewed the charter?
Yes.
You've read it?
Yep, it was pretty dry
How-
and confusing, but
Well,
got
yeah,
through
it
it.
is dry
All
reading.
contracts are.
Yeah, well, it is dry reading, but you mentioned the reason. It has to be correct in form, legal, enforceable, and it's written by lawyers. So, how can the charter improve the situation that you were referring to earlier, which is sort of this dichotomy that happens in Wareham more often than not?
Well,
The factionalization and so forth. How can the charter itself address or help improve that situation?
well, like I said, I'm used to having mayors around, so then there's maybe one person to blame for, or one person to thank for everything. But
So we have a chair.
we're pretty close to that system, at least from my reading. It looks like the town administrator almost fits a mayor's position. I'm definitely open for change, but from the years I've lived here, change doesn't sometimes come too easy here in town. So.
Welcome to New England.
But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, personally, it should be hard to change,
Oh, yeah?
especially in light of the form of government, and, if we can change too easily and too quickly, I think that can be just as destructive as no change at all. But you feel comfortable with the task, and do you feel that this charter can be generally improved to be a more efficient government? And what are some of the key points within the charter that you think are the weakest or
Well-
the strongest? It's up, whatever you want to say.
I think a lot of that's for the group to decide, or the committee, but one thing that I noticed, I don't know, a lot of people hate me for saying this, but I think $5,000 isn't very much money. I think we should up that if you need, for the town administrator to go to town hall and